I suggested going on a vacation during the Christmas holidays, but my husband Raymond brushed it off, claiming he had to work overtime and travel for business. Then I saw a post on social media from his first love, Teresa Janet, showing a picture of Raymond asleep. The caption read, "We're definitely going to have our Christmas baby this time." I took a screenshot and sent it to Raymond with a message, "Good luck with the pregnancy. So, when are we getting divorced?" He called me in a panic, shouting, "Catherine, I promised you would be child-free. And I'll keep that promise. But this doesn't mean I can't help Teresa have a child. She wants one and I have to help her with that. Don't worry, once the baby is born, I won't have anything to do with her anymore." I stared in despair at Teresa's latest social media post. Raymond's sleeping face filled most of the frame, bathed in the warm, golden glow of Christmas tree lights beside the bed, making the scene look peaceful and perfect. She didn't even bother hiding the location tag. It only took me a few minutes to track down the hotel they were staying at, a place that required reservations at least 6 months in advance to secure a best room. And now my husband and his first love were there together. Furious, I immediately booked a flight to Miami and a hotel near them. Arriving at the hotel, I opened Teresa_'s social account on my phone. Beneath Teresa's post there were countless comments. "Oh my God, if I'm not mistaken. You two have been trying for a Christmas baby for 3 years now. Still no luck?" My head spun with nausea as I scrolled through more of their posts. Year after year of carefully planned activities, all centered around making their so-called Christmas baby. I thought about calling Raymond to confront him, but what was the point of screaming over a man like that? Instead, I contacted a lawyer and had a divorce agreement drafted. Then I collapsed onto the bed, staring at the ceiling, lost in memories of us. We had at one point reached an understanding. When we got married, we agreed to be child-free. He carried unpleasant memories from his childhood, and I was terrified of the pain of childbirth and the overwhelming responsibility of raising a child. For all these reasons, we both felt unprepared to become parents. In those 3 years, we never once fought about having kids. Even when people criticized me, calling me a useless wife who couldn't even give her husband a child, I'd be the first to step up, shutting them down, demanding they apologize to me. People always said we were soulmates brought together by love itself. But every Christmas without fail, I'd disappear under some flimsy excuse. I'd done my homework. Their company had normal Christmas holidays, and even his friends never seemed to need him urgently during that time. This year, I poured my heart into planning a Christmas trip, hopeful that things would be different. But he rejected me with a mix of anxiety and poorly hidden excitement. "Catherine, this year is really important to me. I have to go. Hey, race a check, have fun. And call me if you need anything." I finally couldn't hold it in. I asked him outright what was so important that he had to miss yet another Christmas with me. I told him I needed him. But he brushed me off, impatient and dismissive. On his way out, he even knocked over a framed photo of us, shattering the glass. For a brief moment, his face tensed. But then, as if nothing happened, he calmly picked up the broken frame, swept it into the trash along with the shards, and said evenly, "Catherine, I've cleaned it up. Just go back inside." I turned around and went back in, drained by a weariness I couldn't even explain. When I opened Instagram, a new post popped up in my feed, and the moment I saw it, I couldn't breathe. I clicked on it, and there it was, my husband's sleeping face front and center. But it was the caption that hit me like a punch to the gut. Teresa's reply to a commenter made me feel even sicker. "Yes, we're staying in all Christmas to make sure we don't waste any time trying for a baby. Even if we don't get our Christmas baby, at least we'll have the holiday magic on our side." And there it was, Raymond's name, neatly displayed under every single one of her posts, his likes lighting them up like betrayals. I had enough. I took a screenshot and sent it to him with a message. "Good luck with the pregnancy. So, when are we getting divorced?" The moment I hit send, pain washed over me. 3 years of marriage, it wasn't like there were no feelings there. Of course there were. But I couldn't accept being lied to, deceived, and treated like a fool while he played house with someone else. Surrounded by the joyful sounds of people celebrating Christmas on the streets, my phone rang. "Raymond." "Catherine." He snapped the moment I answered. "I told you I'm on a business trip, working overtime. What the hell is wrong with you? Why are you acting crazy?" I let out a bitter laugh. "So your business trip includes baby making now?" That set him off like a cat with its tail stepped on. "You don't trust me? Are you out of your mind? Maybe you're hitting menopause or something. I suggest you see a therapist." Honestly, I've been way too patient with you and now you're taking advantage of it. I let out a cold chuckle, but the rage quickly faded, replaced by an unsettling calm. I took a deep breath, steadying my voice. That's enough. I've already hired a lawyer to draft the divorce papers. Just sign them when you get back. I lay on the hotel sofa staring at the photos on my phone, snapshots of the home we'd built together over the years. Every piece of furniture, every little decoration was something we'd picked out, arranged, and cherished during our 3 years of marriage. Our relationship had been stable for the most part. We worked hard, bought a house we loved, and made a pact to turn it into a warm, cozy home with our own hands. We had planned to renovate it together. But then he convinced his mother to take me on a tropical vacation, charming me into leaving. When I came back a month later, the renovations were nearly complete. And it was perfect, an exact replica of the design we'd sketched out together. Every detail, down to the tiniest corner, matched our plans. He had documented the entire renovation process, recording videos every day, talking to the camera about how much he missed me and his dreams for our future. Back then, I thought if he ever changed his mind about having kids, I'd probably agree without hesitation. But life has a way of proving you wrong. After finalizing my requests with the lawyer and digging through piles of information about divorce proceedings, I glanced at my phone. Dozens of missed calls. Countless messages. Had sent me photo after photo of new picture frames followed by texts. Catherine, stop being dramatic. Remember the frame that got broken? Look, I bought some new ones. Tell me which one you like and I'll bring it home. How about this glass one? The color's really unique. Catherine, can you stop being so childish? Giving me the silent treatment won't solve anything. I couldn't help but laugh bitterly at that last one. Silent treatment? Funny how the person who loved using it the most was him. When did he learn to weaponize silence, though? I guess it started after one of his friends' gatherings. I was a little late that night. By the time I arrived, his friends had already paired him up with Teresa for some party game. They were laughing, blushing as they bit into opposite sides of the same apple, the room echoing with cheers and teasing. I walked straight up to him, demanding an explanation. It's just a party game, he shrugged, his tone light, dismissive. Don't overthink it. If we refused, it would he'd been awkward for everyone. We fought. And right on cue, Teresa appeared, wearing an expression of guilt and concern, as if she were the innocent peacemaker caught in the middle. I'm so sorry, she murmured, glancing between us with watery eyes. This is all my fault. I didn't mean to cause any misunderstandings. Please, both of you, just calm down. Talk it through when you're ready. After that night, things shifted. Our arguments grew more frequent, almost always revolving around her. And every time he sensed I was upset, he retreat into silence, no words, no reactions, just a cold, impenetrable wall. During those stretches of silence, I'd catch faint traces of women's perfume clinging to his clothes. And somehow Teresa's face would pop up now and then on his social media posts. I used to doubt, to wonder, but then I'd remember Raymond's words about his emotional issues, his supposed aversion to physical intimacy, and I'd convince myself he was distant with all women, not just me. I was afraid of his silence. Afraid enough that each time we fought, I'd swallow my pride, smooth things over just to feel like we were okay again. But peace built on fear is fragile. It was like living atop a minefield, pretending everything was fine while knowing, deep down, that one day it would all explode and shatter me beyond repair. I couldn't play dumb anymore. When the phone rang, I took a deep breath and answered. His voice crackled through the line, sharp with impatience. Oh, so you're done with your tantrum now? His condescending tone didn't even faze me. I kept my voice calm. Steady. The divorce papers are ready. I just sent them to you. Take a look. Catherine, he snapped, I've been patient with your little games, but that doesn't mean you get to cross the line over and over. Cross the line? I laughed quietly. You know exactly who crossed the line. You told me you didn't want kids because of your traumatic childhood. But I've looked into your past. Your family was always fine. The one with the broken home, the real psychological trauma? That's Teresa. You chose to be child-free for her. And now, to fulfill her wish for a baby. Suddenly physical intimacy isn't such a big deal anymore, is it? There was a pause on the other end, his breathing heavy and uneven. Then his voice came back, colder than before. Being child-free means we don't have kids. That's it. You're not losing anything here. Catherine, I'm just doing her a favor. Stay out of it. She had a rough childhood, she doesn't T want to be married but she really wants a baby. I just want to help my longtime friend for her dream. Can T you just show some sympathy? Well, I can. In fact, that I'm giving you to her. I hope you'll be responsible enough to marry her too. A man who's already tasted betrayal never walks back. I don't believe him. I never will. It had been 2 days since I last contact with Raymond. During those 2 days I barely left the house, sinking deeper into my own thoughts, unsure of what to do next. But then after a while I realized I couldn't stay in this state forever. So I put on my jacket and decided to go out for dinner. The streets were packed with people, all bustling in different directions, but I walked against the crowd, looking for a place to eat. The smell of food in the air made me feel a bit better. I sat down and ordered a Mexican wrap. I'd barely taken a few bites when, to my surprise, I saw Raymond. I thought for sure he'd be busy enjoying some romantic evening with Teresa, but no, he still had time to be out. The moment I saw him, my mood plunged and suddenly the food I had just started to enjoy felt like a chore. His eyes lit up when he saw me. "Catherine, what a coincidence running into you here." It was as if he truly thought this was some happy, unexpected reunion. I turned my attention to my bag, pulling out my credit card to pay, but before I could, he had already paid the bill. "Catherine, are you still mad at me? All right, it's my fault. Can you forgive me now?" He gazed at me with an overly affectionate look, his voice soft, almost pleading, rare for him. But the smell of his cologne hit me and I felt dizzy. I took 2 steps back, a sharp wave of disgust rushing over me. "Don't come near me." He smiled, his expression almost mocking. "Looks like you're still throwing a tantrum. I've already told you I'm just doing Teresa a favor. It's really no big deal." I didn't even respond, my face frozen in indifference. He furrowed his brows, running a hand through his hair. "All right," he continued, trying to steer the conversation elsewhere. "Didn't you always want to go on a trip with me for Christmas? I've got a little free time now. How about we book tickets together?" I stared at him, deadpan. "Do you really have time?" He exhaled in relief, a satisfied smile creeping onto his face. He thought I'd forgiven him. But the truth was, I was planning to sit down with him and finally discuss the divorce. Just then a little girl ran into me, her mother quickly apologizing and picking her up with a bright smile. The girl smiled up at me. "Sorry, lady." My heart softened unexpectedly. Raymond, of course, went overboard. He looked at the little girl with exaggerated tenderness, saying, "It's fine. Don't worry. This lady is very kind." Once the girl and her mother walked away, he turned his gaze back to me. "Catherine, see, kids are so adorable." I sighed deeply, unable to stop myself from responding. "They're very cute. Now why don't you go find Teresa? Don't want to miss your baby-making window." He looked at me warily, his voice cautious. "Are you really going to throw another tantrum?" I pulled out a few bills and handed them over to him, treating it like I was paying for my dinner. I said calmly, "Raymond, erase the money for dinner. Remember, I don't owe you anything." But he didn't catch the meaning behind my words. Raymond's phone lit up at the moment and I couldn't help but glance at the screen. Baby was the contact name. He awkwardly answered the call and a woman's coquettish voice came through. It was Teresa. "Darling, when are you bringing dinner back?" For a moment Raymond seemed flustered. But then he quickly explained, "Teresa's been feeling really down lately. She needs me and she's been really tired. I think she might be pregnant, actually." When I first heard him say this, I would have been furious, ready to scream at him. But now, after getting some distance from the situation, I felt strangely calm. Let them do what they want to do. It's their mess, not mine. I didn't respond to his words, and as I turned to leave, he followed me. "I've thought about it," he said. "I think I should go with you. Let's go home, book the tickets, and plan our trip together." A wave of helplessness crashed over me. I stopped and looked at him, carefully studying his face before replying, "I don't want to go on a trip with you anymore." He was visibly taken aback. "Why, didn't you always look forward to it?" I sighed. It was clear he still didn't understand. I had no more expectations from him. I looked at his tired, dark-circled eyes, at the weariness in his face, yet that smug expression of someone who had just indulged in an affair. He was a completely different person from the one I'd met 3 years ago. Back then he had been pure, clean and handsome with great charm. Everyone liked him. But he had always been devoted to me, giving me a sense of security. He would tell me everything, where he was going, when he'd be home, who had met. Except for his vague responses about the Christmas holidays. How had he changed so much? I didn't want to think too deeply about it. My hand brushed against the divorce papers in my bag, and I knew it was time to sit down with him and have a real conversation. Let's go, I said, my voice steady. Let's find a quiet place and talk. The coffee shop was still a bit far. But Raymond suddenly darted into a dessert shop. He stood there, indecisive, looking at cinnamon rolls and donuts. When he caught me watching him, he gave me an awkward glance, then explained with a forced smile, "Catherine, sorry, wait here for a second. Let me ask Teresa which one she wants." He moved quickly, grabbing both items. After fumbling with his phone for a moment, he finally relaxed and handed me the donut. I just remembered, Teresa needs to watch her blood sugar during pregnancy. /S really important for her health. So, this donut is for you. Teresa told me to give it to you. I looked at the donut in his hand and couldn't stop myself from laughing bitterly. Raymond, I've never liked donuts. It's clear you've never cared about me at all. He flinched, unable to find the words to explain himself. We had lived together for 3 years. He knew all my habits, all the little things I liked or disliked. And now, after just a few days apart, it seemed like he had completely forgotten everything about me. He carried the desserts, his shoulders slumped, and walked ahead, silent. Every now and then he glanced at me, his expression uneasy. Finally he spoke, his voice a little shaky. "Sorry, Catherine. I've been so busy lately. You wouldn't understand because you never wanted to have kids, but there's so much to take care of when someone's pregnant." I didn't respond and he kept talking, subtly blaming me for being unsympathetic to Teresa. I didn't want to listen anymore. I just muttered, "Sure. Then take care of her, Raymond. Focus on her." He kept rambling on, explaining pregnancy advice and how much effort had been putting into everything. "Catherine," he continued, "where are you staying now? You should move in with us. We have a room available in the place we booked." Just as he said that, his phone rang. His face immediately shifted to one of urgency. "Catherine, Teresa wants a latte and she also wants sushi. Can you help me out? I'm so busy I can't manage it all. Let's split the shopping. We can meet back here after." I stood there, stunned, a cold wave of disbelief washing over me. Last month, when I had asked him to pick up some cupcakes on his way home from work, he had complained it was out of his way, telling me to drink some water instead, saying that if I drank enough, I wouldn't want the cake anymore. I had cried then, feeling hurt and foolish. Now standing here, I felt the weight of everything that had changed. Hearing his words, I felt my face freeze in anger. I replied coldly, "I have things to do. You can buy it yourself." He grabbed my arm, furrowing his brows as he looked at me. "Catherine, how can you be so heartless? You're not pregnant, you get to live so freely. But Teresa, she's carrying a child. So hard for her." His face twisted with a mix of helplessness and frustration. His jaw clenched and his face flushed red. Finally, he managed to suppress his anger and said, "I've always thought you were such an understanding and kind person. When did you become so cold? You won't even help me with this small favor." I didn't react. I reminded myself not to let him see any weakness from me. My voice was as calm as ever. "That's why I've been telling you to hurry up and buy it. Is she hungry?" Raymond glared at me fiercely, muttering a curse under his breath. Forget about it." Tears, traitorous and unbidden, began to blur my vision. I watched as he stormed off, his back turned to me. He was likely rushing to buy dinner for Teresa. I didn't look back either, heading straight back to the hotel. I hadn't eaten anything and my stomach growled, hungry and uncomfortable. In a hurry, I took a quick shower, trying to stave off the dizziness from low blood sugar, and collapsed onto the bed. When I woke, my throat was burning and my head felt like it was going to explode. The room was still air-conditioned and I was shivering from the chill. I checked my temperature. 101.5 F. I had a fever. At that moment, nothing seemed worse than being sick. Even Raymond's betrayal paled in comparison. I couldn't take it anymore. I quickly sent him a message. "I've sent the divorce agreement to your hotel. Once you sign it, we'll go to court to finalize the divorce." The phone rang around noon the next day and my throat burned with pain as I answered it. Raymond/'s furious voice blasted through the line. "Catherine, where are you? Why didn't you answering my calls? Did you go out to find a man? Are you now cheating on me? I didn't think you'd stoop so low just to get back at me. You are so shameless." The insults kept coming and I couldn't take it any longer. I cut him off. "Raymond, are you out of your mind? I told you I want a divorce. If you keep harassing me like this, I'll call the police. I slammed the phone down, my head spinning, my throat itching uncontrollably. I coughed until my throat burned, but nothing could stop it. Christmas. Everyone was out celebrating, laughing, and enjoying time with loved ones. Meanwhile, I was alone in a strange city, suffering from illness. I forced myself to go to the pharmacy. Thankfully, it was still open on Christmas and the staff was kind, offering me warm words of sympathy. As I was leaving, my phone buzzed again. It was a new post from Teresa on Instagram. I opened it to find a picture of a pregnancy test. The caption read, "My baby, finally, we've been waiting for you." What? How could she have found out so quickly? The comments were filled with people gushing over the news, congratulating them on their Christmas miracle. A Christmas baby. How beautiful. My husband and I need to try harder now. Looks like it's time for us to plan our own special holiday baby. I couldn't help but laugh coldly. Teresa then sent me a message, and reading it made my stomach churn. She was truly out of her mind. "Catherine, I'm pregnant. I heard you're in Miami. Why don't you come stay with us at the hotel? Our hotel has a double suite. Raymond and I will share one room and you can stay in the other. Raymond's been so busy taking care of me, I don't want to burden him anymore. Maybe you could help me out. I'd love for you to be the godmother of the baby." I knew exactly what she was trying to do. She wanted to provoke me to rub salt in the wound. But I forced myself to stay calm and replied, "Dear Teresa, what's your room number? I'll come over the day after tomorrow. Don't tell Raymond, I want to surprise him." She probably thought she had me cornered now. Fine, but don't get your hopes up. Raymond's heart and mind are completely on me now. I didn't want to waste another second on her, and honestly, just looking at her messages made me sick. I was going. I needed to expose the truth about this child and let everyone know the real story behind it. I bought a hidden camera. After packing up and checking out of the hotel, I headed over to their place. They had already coordinated with the front desk. When I gave the front desk my information, I was taken aback by the receptionist's odd look, her gaze scanning me up and down a few times. "Sorry, the guest in room 101 didn't mention anyone would be coming to see them." I took a deep breath, steadying myself, and calmly sent Teresa a message. "I'm downstairs now. If you don't need me, you'll leave." That message seemed to hit a nerve. Within moments, Teresa appeared at the door, her clothes disheveled, her scent overpowering and pungent. She grabbed my arm, breathless. "Why are you in such a hurry?" "I just forgot, that's all." Inside the room, Raymond was lounging on the sofa, his eyes narrowing as he looked at me, clearly ensuring I wouldn't make any moves. Only then did he speak. "You've figured it out, right? Teresa's child is also ours. Didn't she say you're going to be the godmother?" I adjusted the hidden camera, my calm demeanor never slipping. "Now that Teresa's pregnant, you both need to be more careful. It's best if you focus entirely on the baby and her. Where are your phones? I've heard phones give off radiation and placing them close can be harmful to the child's development. You should also turn off the sound notifications so Teresa can have a better rest." At first they seemed suspicious, but once they realized it was for the baby's sake, Teresa immediately set her phone aside. She hesitated, then said, "Well, just putting them in the drawer should be fine, I guess." Raymond looked at me warily. "Don't tell me you've got something up your sleeve." "How could I? I've thought it through. Before, I might not have been very understanding, but now that Teresa wants a child and you're willing to help her as your wife, I should be supportive too." I held my phone tightly, careful not to let them see the comments on my social media. I created a new account specifically to expose the ugly truth about the two of them. I watched the number of people in the live stream room grow. Some are familiar names from Teresa's past interactions. I couldn't help but smile lightly. Teresa kept rattling off what she wanted to eat, listing off local shops with the familiarity of someone who had been here countless times. Then she looked at me, her eyes gleaming with a mischievous intent. "Could you go get those things for me? After all, Raymond's so tired and I know you'll understand, won't you, Catherine?" I nodded, my voice cold and controlled. "Don't worry, I'll take care of it for you." At that moment my live stream was flooded with more comments. "So this is the mom who's been planning to get pregnant every Christmas for 3 years. But didn't she just announce her pregnancy a few days ago? But who's the one live streaming? Is she the maid they hired? This maid is horrible, invading their privacy." As I read through the comments, Teresa suddenly spoke up. "My Instagram has been updating with photos of me and the baby's progress. Make sure you take pictures every day and post them." I nodded repeatedly. When I stepped out, I turned off the live stream. My phone buzzed. Raymond had sent me a message. He said Teresa wanted hot dogs, fried chicken and pizza. To make sure I bought from the right places, he sent me locations for each of the shops, each several miles away. He made sure to remind me, hurry up and get it back, make sure it's hot. If Teresa gets hungry, it could affect the baby. I stared at the screen, numb, drained of all anger. For 3 years of marriage, he had never asked me to do anything. Even when I wanted to do housework, he'd have the maid take care of it. He used to say, "You're my wife. When you're with me, your job is to be happy. You don't need to worry about the housework." When I ordered takeout, he'd hug me, saying he'd overlooked me. He learned to cook and bake for me, filling the fridge with food he'd made himself. When I surprised him by picking him up from work, he bought me a car. "Drive here from now on. It's too tiring to walk all that way." But now every word he spoke to me was a command. Sweating profusely, I made my way back. When I walked in, he threw the door open and almost hit me to the ground. "Why it takes so long? All the food is cold now. How is Teresa supposed to eat this? She's pregnant. Can't you at least do one thing right? Why can't you just hurry up? You idiot." He had no idea. I had turned the hidden camera back on and was recording everything. As I called someone come in and clean up the mess for all the finished plates, I took the opportunity to wash up in another room. Raymond had finished his meal, and after Teresa whispered a few words in his ear, he reluctantly came over to try to embrace me. My legs were unsteady, and as I took a step back, I almost stumbled. I coldly said, "Just say it over there, don't come closer." Raymond, visibly displeased, retorted, "Catherine, you and Teresa are both people I love. Stop being so jealous all the time. Teresa is pregnant, so everything must be about her now. I'm the father and I need to be by her side taking care of everything. I can't let my guard down for a second." His words immediately sparked an uproar in the live stream. What does this mean? Is this guy openly cheating? Is he out of his mind? Oh my God, does this poor child know that their parents are so shameless? I dropped another bombshell. "Raymond, I've thought it over. It's better if we get divorced first." His fists clenched, and he looked like he was about to strike me. "Catherine, why are you bringing up divorce again? I can see you're not really here to help Teresa. You're just jealous of her. I'm doing this for you. Only if you and Teresa are legitimate will this child get the blessing it deserves." He hesitated, and Teresa's face also changed. "Ray, this is the child we've been praying for 3 years. If you think I'm a burden or that you love Catherine more, just pretend I never said anything." He snapped back to his senses, hugged Teresa tenderly, kissed her and soothed her. "I told you. You and the baby are my future. I'll do anything for you both." Raymond glared at me fiercely, but his expression softened a little. He then spat out, "We'll talk about this privately. I won't allow her to be upset." The two of them then shared a passionate kiss. He grabbed the divorce agreement that had been thrown into the trash along with some dirty tissues and grabbed a pen ready to sign. Seeing this, I felt my heart race with excitement. I quickly took out another copy of the divorce agreement I had prepared. That one was just a draft. This one is the official divorce agreement. Thanks to Teresa's prompting, Raymond finally signed the agreement without even glancing at the contents. Once he finished signing, he didn't immediately hand it to me. Instead he said, "The child will still call you Mom, right? Well, just say it's our child and have both your parents and mine help take care of them." I paused for a moment and gave him a meaningful smile. "If they agree." At that moment, my phone started vibrating violently. I grabbed the agreement and rushed out the door. It was a call from Raymond's parents. I waited until I was sure Raymond couldn't hear me before I picked up. On the other end of the phone, Raymond's father was shouting, "Catherine, what kind of nonsense is going on online? What the hell is Raymond doing? And who is that woman?" I told Raymond's parents everything. They almost screamed and calling Raymond a real bastard and his mistress a shameless whore. I suppressed my disgust and feigned despair. "Please don't say that. This is Raymond's child. Something he worked so hard for. I understand him, and if he's willing, I'm willing to help." I could imagine their shocked and disbelieving expressions, but I continued to play the victim. Their tones softened instantly and they began to comfort me, telling me not to do anything stupid and even asking me to turn off the live stream. They tried for a while to coax my address out of me, but I didn't tell them my location. Worried I'd do something foolish? No way. There was nothing more satisfying than this. I could already imagine the scene of those two being reviled by everyone online. Back in the room, I continued to act as if nothing had happened and took care of them. But that night, Raymond and Teresa started trouble again. Just as I was about to return to my room, I didn't know when they had entered. As the light flicked on, Teresa opened her eyes, looking at me with displeasure. "Catherine, what are you doing?" I was just about to fall asleep. I wasn't surprised by what they were doing anymore. "What are you two doing in my room?" Raymond gently stroked Teresa's stomach. Teresa wanted to switch rooms to get a better view, so we decided to move between the two rooms. "You can sleep on the couch now, so you're available anytime." I silently packed my things and left, only leaving the hidden camera on. On the couch, they immediately began a disgusting performance. Pregnant and still restless. I guess it's true what they say, birds of a feather. And the comments online were just as outrageous. Unbelievable. These two are absolutely insane. How are they even still alive? God should punish them. This live stream boosted their notoriety to a whole new level. I disconnected the stream at the perfect moment. Tomorrow I had a bigger show to put on. I wanted to leave just a bit of suspense. I had a peaceful sleep, but was suddenly awakened the next morning by deafening noises. To my shock, both Raymond's parents and mine had arrived overnight. They looked exhausted, but the anger on their faces hadn't diminished at all. It seemed that after I had refused to give them my address, they had somehow tracked me down. Raymond stammered and couldn't find his words when he saw them. Teresa, disheveled and covered in hickeys, screamed and pulled a thin blanket over herself in an attempt to cover up. Raymond's father, a rough farmer with immense strength, slapped Raymond so hard that he fell to the ground, shouting, "You bastard! Aren't you ashamed enough? Not only did you cheat, but you were planning to have a child with your mistress. How shameless!" Teresa began sobbing as she clung to Raymond, pretending to be the victim. "Sir, I'm so sorry, it's all my fault. I was just so desperate for a child, it has nothing to do with Raymond. Get away from me, you whore." Raymond's father snapped. "You can't escape punishment. I will not acknowledge this bastard child in your belly." Raymond glared at me with pure malice. "You bitch. Didn't you promise me that you would treat this child as your own? Why did you call my parents here?" I forced myself to continue playing my part. "I don't know, I didn't tell them anything." But my parents looked at me with regret in their eyes, clutching my hands. They said with guilt, "I'm so sorry, Catherine. We never should have let this happen. We'll make sure you get justice." My mother pulled me aside, looking worried. "Catherine, you need to be clear-headed. Why are you still staying here? Come with me, darling." I smiled and pulled out the pictures Teresa and Raymond had posted on social media. "Mom, don't worry about me. Since we got married, Ray has been working so hard to have a child with Teresa. Now that his dream has come true, I'm happy for him." When my parents saw the photos, they completely lost it. Without thinking, they rushed at Raymond and started hitting him. "Raymond, you bastard. I'm going to kill you." My father, so angry he couldn't speak, just kept punching him in silence. Meanwhile, the hidden camera continued recording everything quietly. At first, Raymond was too stunned to fight back, but as the beating went on, he started to show signs of anger. "Enough. I was just giving her a child. Catherine and I agreed to not have kids, I had no choice." Then, his eyes burning with fury, he glared at me. "Is this your doing? You can't stand to see Teresa have a child, Catherine. You've always been this vicious, I'm seeing it now." Raymond's father stood there in disbelief. "You cheated and now you're blaming Catherine." But Raymond continued to try and twist the narrative. "Catherine, I've seen through your schemes. A selfish, evil woman like you doesn't deserve to be my wife. I was planning to treat you well, but now you've lost your chance. I'm marrying Teresa, and nobody is going to stop our child from being born." This was exactly what I wanted, but unfortunately, the divorce proceedings had already been finalized and the divorce papers hadn't been issued yet. I sighed, and my parents misunderstood my reaction. They thought I had given up, and in their anger, they increased the intensity of their beating on Raymond. Raymond's parents didn't say a word but silently allowed my parents to continue. After a few more hits, Raymond began to lose strength and eventually passed out. Teresa too was so frightened that she fainted. We called an ambulance and they were taken away, the disgraceful scene being all over the news, trending on social media. In the hospital, they were both rushed to the emergency room. Raymond was unexpectedly diagnosed with kidney failure, and the doctors warned that if he didn't take care of his health, he might not have long to live. As for Teresa, it was even more absurd, she wasn't pregnant at all. The baby she claimed to be carrying was actually a uterine fibroid. The pregnancy test had been false. A reporter, eager for a scoop, had managed to get past the hospital's security and was interviewing them. When I arrived, I overheard the question. "What are your plans now that your Christmas baby turned out to be a uterine fibroid?" Raymond, already reeling from the shock of his kidney failure diagnosis, became so enraged that his blood pressure shot up. And he started shaking uncontrollably. Soon after, the news went viral with a headline. "Cheating husband still alive, vows to try again for baby." The online reactions were ruthless, and people mocked them relentlessly on their social media pages. I watched the comments pour in, feeling oddly satisfied. Since my parents had found us at the hotel and heard everything ID said, they thought I had lost my mind. They were also afraid I might feel sorry for Raymond and want to reconcile. So, they took me away from all the chaos, bringing me back home to let me rest and recover for a while. Once home, I told them everything, every detail of my plans. They sat in silence for a long time before my dad finally patted my shoulder and said, "We support you." I found myself in my mom's arms, feeling an overwhelming sense of relief and, perhaps for the first time, a pang of regret for everything that had happened. When Raymond appeared in front of me again, he looked sickly and emaciated, completely unrecognizable. "Catherine," he croaked, "I love you and only you. Please come back home. I need you." I tilted my head, confused. "What about Teresa?" His brow furrowed in irritation. "I'll deal with her next year. I don't want to see her this year." I felt nauseous. His words made it clear he wasn't ruling out getting back together with Teresa, just not right now. I lowered my gaze and said nothing, not bothering to respond to him. Just as Raymond's phone rang, he sluggishly answered it, glancing awkwardly at me before saying, "Catherine, Teresa doesn't have enough money for the surgery." "How much do you have? Please give me some." "You can forget it, Raymond. Even if I had money, I wouldn't give you a single cent." Raymond was about to get angry when people around us started pointing fingers and whispering, "Isn't this the scumbag who cheated and had his wife serve his mistress? Can you believe he has the nerve to show up here? He's truly shameless, doesn't even feel embarrassed. If I were him, I'd be too ashamed to even think about coming back to my ex-wife." Hearing this, Raymond's face turned bright red. Without saying another word, he turned and fled. Once he was gone, a neighbor approached me and said, "Catherine, don't feel bad. Leaving him is the best thing for you. You're free now. You've been such a good girl. The sooner you left, the better it was. Your future will only get better." I smiled and nodded. But in the following months, Raymond's ghost kept haunting me. He relentlessly tried to get back together, showing up at my workplace multiple times, bringing me roses and cakes, pretending to be all heartfelt. "Catherine, I'm just trying to fulfill the wish of a poor woman." Poor woman? I thought bitterly. He had once pampered Teresa like a precious jewel, but now the tables had turned. I shrugged indifferently. "Yes, you're just trying to give another woman a home. Go ahead, you can now live openly with her and have children together." "Catherine," Raymond said with desperation in his voice, "all our 3 years of effort are wasted. The baby's gone and she's miserable every day, but I don't care anymore. I only care about you. Can we get back together?" I looked around coldly and pointed at the world around us. "When will you wake up? I don't love you anymore." With that, I walked away, and for a long time after, I didn't see Raymond. The next time I did, I saw him on the street with a woman, struggling and fighting. Looking closer, I realized it was Teresa. She no longer had the same confident, beautiful look from before. Her cheeks were sunken and her eyes were bloodshot. She grabbed Raymond's shirt and shouted uncontrollably, "You have to marry me. If you don't marry me, I'll sue you for rape. You cheated on me during our marriage and now you're threatening me." I was forced into this. Who wants to be the mistress? Behind her, her lawyer was gleefully watching the scene, holding up a phone, claiming he was filming for evidence. Amid the chaos, Raymond saw me. His eyes begged for help, full of regret, but I simply smiled, waved my hand and walked away, leaving all the noise behind me. Later, I heard that Teresa had initially planned to trap Raymond, but when she saw he was no longer interested in her, she took all his money and fled. As for me, I received compensation from Raymond, our shared savings and even a house. I decided to travel the world, from the farthest corners to the nearest. The world is so big and I am happily single.